Hello, everybody. Here we are for another exciting new assessment in Photoshop. So today we are going to go through the steps on how to create a poster. I'm going to go through all of this pretty quickly because I explained this a lot more in class, and this is really just for you to, see if you've forgotten a step, you can go through the video, or if you get stuck on something, all the steps are in the videos, which is a great way for you to play around at home or revisit. Okay, so the way to create a poster, like we discussed, we put our photos into a Lightroom collection. Then we create and write the text for the poster, and then we go to Adobe Express and search for templates for our poster. Then we go on to create the document in Photoshop. So let me just find. So Adobe Express is here. In Lightroom, I have my templates, and let me just find my text very quick. Here's my text. So here's my text. I'm going to call my business Light Branch Photography. Here's an email and a web address, and then I have an inspirational quote. It's fresh from ChatGPT. Very cheesy, but I'm going to use this anyway. So here's my photo, and here are some examples of what I was talking about. So here is an example of a Lightroom template. And then we can take the general layout and include our own photos, our own text, or our own logos. Okay, and now we're going to do the design for this tree image. So now I have a little bit of text, and I have some of those other elements. So I go into Adobe Express, and I start a new document or new flyer. So in this case, I'm searching for a poster. So up here in the search box, I'm going to go poster. And then there's some poster templates here. When you hover over it, it says poster template. So I click on it, and then on the left side, I can scroll down. There's a lot of options for posters. So what you want to look at really is something that works with your image. So here I could include one image or three images in a ball, and then change the colors and keep the general layout, or just put in my own photographs. So I'm going to go through, and I'm going to go with this one, same as we did in class. So once I start choosing your template, you just got to go download. I'm going to keep PNG because I was just a single layer image. Don't worry about the warning. I just go download this. Then I upload it into Lightroom. And once in Lightroom, here's my template, and here is my photograph. So before I open those into Photoshop, I'm going to create a new document in Photoshop. Okay, so in Photoshop, I go File, New, and I can go over here. I'm going to go Print. Then I'm going to go View All Presets and search for my A3 preset. So that gives me the A3 size in millimeters, 300 pixels per inch. That's great. Background I'll leave white, and I'm going to go with Adobe RGB in this instance. Then I go click Create, and here's my A3 size poster, still empty. Then I'm going to go back to Lightroom, and I'm going to open both of those documents. I'm going to go Command E or Photo Edit in Photoshop. If you already have open documents, I'm just going to go Open Original. Okay, then here's my template. I'm going to drag this layer over to my new untitled photograph, which I should have named, but I didn't. But I'm going to do this now because I'm now going to go File, and I go Save As or Save. And it's going to ask me, how do you want to save this? I'm going to go Photoshop Poster JR version 1. And I'm going to save this on my computer. Choose your folder where you want to put this in. I'm just going to go with desktop just for now. Okay, so I have my template. I line this up into the middle, and the tool I am on is the Move tool, the first tool. So I'm going to line this up actually top left, and I'm going to go Command T for free transform, and then I drag the corners down so it extends to the whole document. Commit up the top. And then I drag this into the middle till I get this nice pink line. So that means my template is in the middle. And see, this is slightly different than A3, but we're going to change the background color, and that it really gives us a great starting point. Then what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make a placeholder for my actual photograph. So for this, I go into the selection tool, the marquee tool. I can select round over here and square over there. So I'm going to go square, top left to top right. If you, by any chance, you start missing your top corner, you can just click a Y and start again. Or if you want to change your selection, hold down the space bar and you can change your whole selection while still having your mouse button clicked, and you can just refine your selection. So now I'm going to let go. So there's a beautiful selection of tracing the outline of the photograph. Then I go bottom right. By the way, if you don't see, if your panels look different, go into Window, Workspace, and go Reset Essentials. I'm on Essential Workspace, and you reset Essentials, you're going to come out. Your workspace should look the same as mine. So I'm going to go, after this, I go to Adjustment Layers, and I choose the top one, which is Solid Color. So I choose Solid Color, just pick a color, any color will do. And now we have a mask right here on our Solid Color fill layer. So that's a placeholder for our image. If you have more, then we do more selections and just make another one of those solid fill layers. So now I'm going to go find my image, which I have here. It's still in a single layer, so I'm just going to click on the thumbnail and drag that over to our poster. So I'm going to go back up to the move tool, and I can just move this around and put this roughly in place. I think that's going to look quite all right. And what I do now is I move the mask from our placeholder straight onto our image. If I move this up, I'm going to have a perfect selection of what we had on the placeholder. So as you know, with masks, you just turn them off and on, the little eye icon to see them or don't see them. I'm actually going to keep this color right now, move this down a layer to the bottom, and maybe double click on it and choose the background color like we had in the other sample. Okay, so for our template now, we put this on top, and we're going to make the opacity 50%. You can slide over on the opacity, or you can just type in the number. I go 50, press enter. So now we see our the image that we're creating right now underneath, and with our template on the top that we can turn on and off in any way we want it. So the image is good, and I just want to resize this image now. And what I do before I do this, which is a super important step, is see this little chain icon. I'm going to unchain the mask to the image. So the mask stays in place and the image is going to move. So if I move the image now, it moves within that mask. It's probably better if I choose a different color where this is brighter. So if I move the image, you see how the image moves inside the mask. If I move it too low, it's going to have its effect. So make sure your image covers the whole mask. And we're going to go back to edit, and we go free transform, and just make this a little bit bigger. And I think this is going to, it's going to look nice. Maybe even a little bit bigger. Drag this out, and then just choose my sizing. Okay, perfect. Click OK up the top or enter, and that's our tree. Then we're going to change the background color. I'm going to keep this color layer here. You double click on it, and I have the color picker, so I can choose any color from our image. I'm going to go with this. That looks pretty good. And then I check my layer. So our image is good. The background's good. I think we're going to make some finer adjustments later, but for now, let's just go and do our text. Okay, here's my text. I'm just going to copy the whole text. Go back into Photoshop. Then I go into text layer, which is down here. So keyboard shortcut is T. And I'm just going to click on it and then paste. So you can go edit, paste. So now all my text is there, but I can't see anything. So I select all the text and Command A, and see the color up here. I can change the color of my text onto any color I want. I'm just going to make this white because everything else is pretty dark. I'm going to click OK. Or actually, I'm going to make the text smaller. I'm just going to make it 16 points. And I click OK. And then with the move tool, I move the text down so I can see it. And see how the text goes behind my image? That's because my photo layer is above the text. So I'm just going to move my text up one layer. And here's my text. That's too small, so I can still go Command T to make it larger. Free transform. So you can resize text this way. Okay. So that looks pretty good. And now I'm going to go, I copy it as I cut and paste some of the text. So this is my first title. So I'm just going to go edit and I'm going to go cut, press OK, make another text layer and paste in there. Command V is the keyboard shortcut to this. We can select all, Command A, and just make this a little bit larger. Maybe I make it 60. I can always resize my text after. And to move your text while you're in the type tool, you can just hold down this your command key, and that way it changes, your text changes to the move tools. So, and watch out for those little pink layers. So that means now my text is nice in the middle. So I have a light branch photography, and I'm going to go select the bottom layer, same thing. Okay, maybe I just press a space bar here. That makes it easier to select one line. So I'm going to get edit cut, Command X, and start a new text layer. I commit to those changes, start T, new text layer, just click anywhere, and Command V to paste. Command A, select all, and I can make the text larger and smaller also by and change the size. So again, holding down Command, I move the text to the middle. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm going to now change the order of my text. I go light branch photography, that stays in the top, crafted from clarity, I move this down, and then I have my middle layer, which I have the email and the web address. I might make the web address a little bit larger or email a bit smaller. So now I'm going to check my template and see how is this looking. So I go, okay, not too bad. So it's a little bit similar, but still different. Okay, you can also change your fonts. You can change the fonts of any layer, light branch photography. I'm going to change the font over here. There's plenty of fonts that come with Photoshop. And you can also change the thickness over here. I go light branch photography medium. It's maybe a little bit too much. I go regular here. Don't want it too overpowering. Then that one's light, and I think the rest is all good. You could even make it italic by just highlighting and going italic. But I'm going to stick with just light. Okay, committing or canceling out of any changes you do is over the top right. And now we're going to do final adjustments of our text. And I'm going to go to move tool, and now I'm going to use my arrow key just down to move up, down, left, right. You can do this all with the arrow keys. So that looks good. And then I go to my light branch email layer, and I'm going to now change the distance. And the best way to do this is with the character tool. If you don't find the character tool, go to your text tool, click on this little icon up the top right there in the middle, and you find your character. And here is, you can change the distance between the layers. I think that kind of looks good. I just have a look. Then click on my layer, go to move tool, that's the V key, and I'm going to go shift and up arrow. That moves the image, the layer by 10 pixels up. So maybe go a little bit further down, and I'm going to go my bottom layer, also shift and move tool, just, the arrow keys, move that down. Okay, so that looks good. Now I'm going to select two layers, my top layer and my crafted from clarity. So I'm holding the command key down, and that selects now selected multiple layers. Go back to my text tool, and I'm going to change the color of the text. So here's my color up the top. I click on it, and I can just select any of the image, or we had sort of a bluish color at the back there. So I'm going to choose like a blue color from the image. Something that looks a little bit blue. And now on my color picker menu here, I can go, if I go up, down, it goes brighter, darker. If I go left, right, it goes desaturated or more saturated. So I'm going to go up and less colors. I'm just going to go up, and I change this, and I actually don't like this too much. So I'm going to click on the image again, trying to find, we had this nice blue there, and I just go up from the blue here. Light branch photography, and I just changed my mind because I really want my logo to pop out and not my background. So I'm going to cancel out of this. I select my email layer, and I'm going to make the text now for this email layer, make the text blue. So that's this blue we had, and I'm just going to move this up so it sticks out maybe like this. Okay, So this color I like, so I can always select a color by, so I zoom in and I click on the color icon, bottom left, and I select this color from that we had. Where's the brightness? Here it is. And I click OK. So because now what I'm going to do is, so I'm basically finished, but the image doesn't really pop out. So I'm going to make a little border around the image. Okay, so for this, we are going to create a new layer where we put a stroke there, and then we command click on the layer mask that we selected before. So I command click on the layer mask, and that selects the outline of our placeholder. Make sure you are not here, but on the actual new layer. I'm going to rename this stroke. And so with the selection, we have the color that we want our outline to be. Then I go into edit and I go stroke up here and I go 6 pixels and make a stroke, and I go, oh, that's a little bit too thin. So while I still have my selection, I'm just going to go back, go stroke, go 30 pixels, click OK. That looks better. Then I press Command D to deselect. I'm going to go, oh, this is still a little bit dark. Actually, I like the outline to be brighter. So either I go undo and make a new stroke in a brighter color. So you can select the color and make it a little bit brighter here. Or I'm going to actually create a new curves layer above it. And then I link the curves layer to the one underneath by pressing this button. See this on the properties? So now this affects only the stroke layer. So if I now make this brighter or darker, it's going to affect the stroke layer. I actually quite like this. Go, So decisions. I'm actually going to go with this blue one here. Yeah, so that looks good. And I'm going to go move this up. So those are all my layers. And I double check with my template, see how that looks before and after. So I don't have any text in the image, but you know, that's kind of good enough. First, we need to save the file. Make sure you save your file. Command S. I recommend doing this every 5 minutes. So my Photoshop file is saved onto the desktop. Now I'm going to export. Make sure you save it before you export it. Now I'm going to save it as, so I'm going to save a copy. And I save a copy in JPEG. Photoshop Poster version 1. I'm just going to, since it's the same file, I remove the copy name and I save it on desktop. And I'm going to be pretty happy with that. I'm going to go quality 11 standard. That's all good. And now I have my Photoshop file over here and my JPEG saved. Then I'm going to close all the documents out. I go click and click and click. And that was it. Let me just find my JPEG file. Okay, now I'm going to move my JPEG pictures onto my classes folder and then just straight from there, drag it back into Lightroom. So we have copies, both copies in Lightroom. Here's my JPEG file and the Photoshop file. You can always add your copyright, and it's always a good idea, and maybe add some keywords on the import too. So here is our final poster. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you on the next one.